Hello, everyone. Decided to do this vlog from my living room and using Zoom. Um, so I hope you've enjoyed the vlog series so far. I've turned it into a playlist and I'm keeping advertising it on my Facebook and LinkedIn and would appreciate everyone to share with your friends and colleagues. Um, the What I'm going to do in this vlog, I'm going to give you a status update where I am with the writings. Then I want to introduce you and talk about four of my characters. So first, let me start with where I am. The last 2 weeks, I've kind of been on vacation, so I've been taking some time back to myself, but I've also focused on writing the overview. Before I write a book, I write an overview. And when I am building a chain of stories like I'm doing, then that overview also is necessary for the entirety of the chain. And I've told before that the goal for this whole thing was I was going to do a trilogy, a standalone book, and then a new trilogy. 7 books if you look at it, but the point of view is that the first 3 books are on the Wardens of the Dawn. The third book is around one specific enemy, and then the next 3 books is on a different point of view of a different character who has a different role. All dealing with the same dynamics and working with their structures, but really it's an evaluation of their advancements. Book one, Revolt on Prime, I've rewritten 35,000 words of it, and I am probably almost two-thirds done with my first write. Then book two, I'm actually have the overview is probably 60% done. And then I'm going to more than likely get writing on that one as well. The Return of the Caldor. And that is getting very interesting to me. I've also been thinking really decently about how I'm going to do the storyline in book three, The Giant's Valley. And what I'm going to do and build into each of these is book one is really about Earth and the creation of the Wardens of the Dawn. Book two is going to be Rick's story. Book three will be Albert's story. And then book four is really Everett's story. And all of them will be dealing with their struggles as they go through. And though book four sounds like it would be part of the trilogy, it won't be because time zone differences will be happening. And then book five, six, and seven are one, two, and three of the Tapestry War of the Tapestry. That will really be Billy's story. So let's talk about these characters. I've already talked to you in my first vlog about Everett, and Everett's the son of Rick, but we haven't talked about Rick. Rick is the chief of the guardsmen of the city of New Madrid, which is one complete dome city where 1.8 million people live. And the guardsmen are kind of like the police force. They're also the caretakers, and they work with the technical or the technicians, and they work with the hollow controllers in order to create the society. They always answer to the governing council. And Rick is the head of the guardsmen for New Madrid City. He and his assistant Billy are involved in any and all crime of investigations of murder, of theft. You can imagine that if you have 200 or 222 million people living on the bottom of the ocean and they can't leave, they can't go to the surface, things are going to get a little wild down on the ocean floor. So the guardsmen are very busy all the time with petty crimes and sometimes crime syndicates. Not that I'm going into that too much in the book. But Rick, he's an expert investigator. He's an expert leader. He's in charge of an army of guardsmen, 280 guardsmen. And he really, my inspiration I draw for Rick really comes from my interest in the character Batman. What would Batman be without the mask and all the gadgets and the riches? He'd still be a pretty darn good police detective, and that's my Rick. Rick is a really good police detective, but Rick also has visions and inspirations. And so Rick is also going to be a painter. And he paints the mystery, and he doesn't even know what he's painting, but he is painting all the time the tapestry. And we learn in the story why and how, and there's a connection between him and why that's there. But Rick also is the character that suffers the most in my hands as the writer. And so, Rick, I tell you, I'm sorry. But don't worry, you'll get everything back somehow. Then we move on to Albert. Now, Albert is Rick's brother. He's the younger brother of Rick, but Albert is bigger, stronger. Albert works out 4 or 5 hours a day. He's an expert in martial arts. He wins tournaments all the time, and his job in the new guardsman is he is the primary use security for VIPs. So when the governing council or one of the heads of one of the medical branches or the science branches is in a risk environment, they call Albert to be his security guard, not the head of their security. In the book, I introduce you to Albert in an exercise thing, and then you see that he's fighting his way out of everything, and he understands all the high-level principles of martial arts. And he has a care to take care of Everett, because Everett sometimes gets lost by his father, because his father's attention is over here with crime or over there with painting, and someone has to watch Everett. So Albert also is the uncle of Everett and is giving Everett that a level of encouragement. It's also teaching Everett a little bit of martial arts, what an 11-year-old kid can get. Then we got Billy Malone. Billy is the first character I'm telling you about that's not part of the James family, but he is the lieutenant under Rick, and he's, again, an investigator. But unlike Rick, who is an investigator and some detective, Billy Malone is a socialist, sociologist. He is interested in the society and the makeup of people in their society. So he studies history, what history is available to him. He also is very interested in the tower, and what he thinks the tower is alien technology. And so he's really interested to find out more about that. Billy has a unique journey in this book, and it's because Billy is going to really be the explorer of that line between the light and the dark. And I won't go further into that, but just watch Billy as you go through the book. And by the way, why is he called Billy? I'm William. Bill is my nickname. There's a little bit of me in Billy. Okay. And then the last character I want to talk about, in Prime, they have the Nectar. And the Nectar gives them the power to basically build anything. But how do they do that? They first have a computer that generates a holographic projection, and then they fill it up with Nectar. And with the computer, they give it the properties necessary, and then therefore they can create anything. But they have holographic technology, hollows that exist. The lead scientist for all of Prime is Dr. Kitrama, and she builds the attendants, which are the AI interfaces, the hollow AI interfaces that everyone uses to interact with the computer system and the technology. And she has built all the templates, and as she gets to meet Everett, and it's very wonderful. But she builds a new kind of holographic neurological advanced AI. And this she gives her name to. And this AI is Kitrama. And Kitrama becomes a very important friend and caretaker of Everett as we go through the story. And she has her own journey, and she will also become a warden. And these are the characters that I promised you. Now let me show you some of their pictures. These again are pictures created with AI. They're not the final pictures, but it's just to give you an idea. So here you see a picture that I generated to represent Albert. This is a picture of Kitrama. This is a picture that I got for Rick. And everybody will be going through their transitions, and this will be the a simulation of Billy. So I don't see my time here. Anyway, so that's where I am with the story. What I'm going to do with the next vlog is I'm going to look for comments and see if there's anything interesting that you guys would like me to talk about. Otherwise, I'm going to talk about the tapestry and the alignments of good and evil and neutral in the tapestry. I've created a song. I've created a poem. Both will be used in the the, the stories in the books that'll give you just an idea. Maybe some inkling like, Bill, get that book done, get that book done. Always looking forward to your encouragement. Please put your comments below. Always happy to have you share my content and my vlogs to all your friends on Facebook, LinkedIn, WhatsApp. I'm not in any other platforms, but if you are, share. If you know anyone who's interested, I'm happy to have them along in this journey. Thank you for your time, and Bill out.